Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. Here to discuss her fifth studio album, Vulnerable, is Nikkole. Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. She's a Billboard top charting artist and loves to sing. And you're from North Carolina. How did you get started in music?
It's a very interesting story. I always knew I wanted to sing. So at the age of 6, my brother and I would sing together in church and with our cousins, and our mom and dad were going to separate. And our mom asked us, well, where do you want to go?
Right.
We were like, we want to go to Los Angeles.
At the age of 6?
Yeah, I knew right away. I always knew what I wanted to do.
Wow.
And so we came to Los Angeles, but beforehand, because we were singing, we had been writing little songs and poems and these kinds of things, and we connected with one of the producers from the group, The Emotions. And our mom listened to The Emotions so much, their songs when we were growing up in Earth, Wind & Fire.
Right.
So we connected with Wanda of The Emotions and her husband, Wayne Vaughn, who wrote with Earth, Wind & Fire, and kind of grew up with their kids, and that's how the love of music just continued on.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, so many people dream about coming to California. How did you all actually make it work, and what are maybe some of those first few steps that got you down the pathway?
Yeah, it was very interesting because our mom is a go-getter. So she was going to make it happen no matter what. So she instilled that in us at a young age.
Right.
And so, you know, we went to school, we studied, we did well. I was scouted by a modeling agency at the age of 12 in the mall. So I took that money that I made from the age of 12 to 18 and did my first album independently, which is called Appearances, which was one of the #1 albums released that year out of 25,000 albums.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you were an indie artist before that was even
Before it was
popular.
like popular and hot, you know, to be an indie artist. That's what I wanted to do because I understood the business aspect. I wanted control of my art. I wanted to own the masters.
Right.
So that kind of thing, business accoutrement is so important to artists, and no matter what you do, but especially in the industry, to understand how it works so that you can like have a long career, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
How did you pick up those skill sets though? Because it seems like it's so hard and there's really no book or formula.
It's in my nature. I am, you know, I'm an artist, but I'm also an A-type personality, and I'm very controlling. So it just comes along with the territory,
Right.
you know? It's like, I don't want someone else to tell me what they think I need to be doing.
Right.
So because of that, I decided to read up on it. I surrounded myself by people who knew more than I knew, attorneys, accountants,
Right.
so that I could understand the industry more, and that's how we did it, yeah.
I see. Now, how did it feel to actually start charting on Billboard nonetheless? 'Cause
That was amazing. To go, you know, 3 albums in and to just keep going and not stopping, and then finally, on that 4th album to say, okay, this song is what? It's now number 20, or this song is number 7.
7, right.
You know, it was just an incredible feeling, and it shows you that no matter what you go through, with fortitude, strength, and belief in yourself, and
Right.
good people around you, you don't do it alone.
No, of course.
So with good people around you, you can make it happen and never give up. That's the thing that it really showed me too, the strength of what it takes to make it as an indie artist, as a
Right.
woman, you know, in the industry.
Sure.
Yeah.
Talking about surrounding with good people,
Yes.
Leon Silver's produced your Leon Silver's III,
Yes.
your album recently.
Amazing.
So how did you get to meet and work with him?
That's an incredible story. So it was time to do my 5th studio album, Vulnerable.
Right.
And my brother Wallace and I were just sitting around his house, and I'm like, who is going to do this album? I don't know. I know what I want it to sound like and what it to feel like. And then we were listening to music, and all of a sudden a Shalimar song came on. And my brother Wallace was like, well, what if we call Leon? And I'm like, let's call Leon.
Sure,
So we did, you know, we made it happen. And he's like, he was amenable, and we met. He came to our studio, and we just felt like family in that like one meeting. So from at that place, we're like, well, let's just do 3 songs together and see how it goes. But then it was such a soulful connection
Right.
that we were like, let's do the whole album. I could just feel it, and I knew after the 3rd song it's going to be called Vulnerable, because I needed to tell a story of what it feels like when you go through things not only in an emotion, in a relationship,
Right.
but emotionally, like in everything you do in life, and showing the vulnerable aspects of each side of that. So that's what we did.
Sure.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah.
And then this latest song, We Can Make It If We Try, how did that come about? And I know his son helped participate in that, and it's doing very well.
Yeah, We Can Make It If We Try. We were in the studio listening to tracks one day, and
Yes.
Leon played that song, and I was like, it was unfinished, but I heard Leon the Fourth's vocal,
Right.
and I was like, what? Wait, what is this? You never shared it with me. And he was like, well, I thought it was going to be like for a guy group. I'm like, no, this is a duet.
Right.
He's like, yeah. He's like, you know what? I hear it. So then we decided to do it, and then Leon the Fourth came in, and we wrote, like there were some words that were already there, but we added our own stuff to it, and it's a remake originally, Marvin Gaye Penn song, but we added our own flair to it, and
Right.
then it came to be what it is now, which is currently number 3.
That's right.
Yeah, on the R&B charts.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Tell us about just sort of the evolution of your career. You've been in the business a long time,
Yeah.
long before indie was even popular,
Right.
and yet you still maintain your tenacity. What things do you feel have changed, and what things do you look forward to?
Well, you know, starting out doing it at such a young age and seeing the progression of the industry and then being able to flow with the many changes that are happening now, it's almost as if I feel like the industry, music industry, is just sort of like in flux because people don't quite understand what it is to do to make money with it, because now it's at a place where no one wants to pay for music. So you have to be creative in how, you know, you can get your product out there and how you can make a living. And I think now the crucial thing is, you know, not going away from your art, being able to be creative, but then also understanding the business side and being able to sell it. So that's where I'm at right now, like with learning how to navigate through that even more so. And you know, it's not always easy, sometimes it's frustrating, but my idea from the beginning is that you never give up.
Sure.
Yeah.
What pearls of wisdom would you give to some young artist who is trying to do that, navigate through this world and
Yeah.
follow in your footsteps?
I would definitely say keep that tenacity within. Don't think it's going to happen overnight. Don't think you're a star right away. Just because you can sing one song does not mean you got a career.
Right.
So you've got to keep working at it. You've got to get with people who know more than you do. To me, that's most important because we don't know it all.
No.
There's always someone that knows more than we do, and I want to be in that room.
Right.
So that's where I keep myself, and I would say to do that. And even if that means you don't have to have a lot of money to do this, but take someone for a slice of pizza and pick their brain. You know, those are the kinds of things that are important. Don't be afraid to, if you've got to do everything to shoot your video yourself, you got to like run the, I've taken my own photos before, you know what I'm saying?
Sure,
if you got to do that, you got to do it to make it happen. Don't be too big for anything.
Right.
Yeah.
The show's called Music and Medicine. When you hear those words, how do they resonate to you?
Right away, I think healing, because music is healing. Music is therapy. Medicine is healing. Medicine is therapy. Music like soothes the soul. You know, we just went through this pandemic and we're still going through it. And people utilize that to get through, you know,
Right.
in addition to therapy. People need that. So it all goes hand in hand. And there isn't anything to be like, I have some friends who have told me they're like been ashamed that they've gone through therapy. It's nothing to be ashamed of. That's what cleanses us and keeps us stronger. And then we go
Exactly, I
back and
agree.
listen to music and it makes it even better.
Right.
So it's all like this circle that comes together. So that's my feeling from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. I think you epitomize it so well. One last question I have for you, though, is if you could look into the future and say, I really know that I want to make a bigger difference and a bigger impact, what's one way that you might, through your music, do that beyond what you've already achieved?
That's a very good question. I think that through my music, I'd like to reach more people in the sense of like if it's going into schools, talking to kids about like how they can get started. I think things like that should be taught in schools because there are a lot of musically inclined kids.
Sure.
And if we can start at an early age so they'll learn not only the craft, but as we talked about the business side, I would like to just be able to be one of the people that could help, you know, in that area.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you're so positive and upbeat, and we're just so delighted with your
you.
success with this latest album,
Oh, thank you.
Vulnerable. And where can we find you and find out more about you?
Everyone can come to my website at Nikkole, Nikkole.com, and from there, everything is, you know, at your fingertips.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having me.
having you.
Thank you.
Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis.